It's Tuesday, April the 23rd. This is Things You Might Have Heard. I am Jay Cleveland Payne, and today, 8 stories in the queue that cover stories from yesterday. Topics including information, politics, current events, and pop culture news will explain the vetting process in mere moments, but the headlines are the keys. Let's get to them first. I want to remind you that our website is thisisaconversationproject.com, where details about what we do and why this thing works is there all the time. You can email us whenever you're up to it at theconversationinbox@gmail.com. As we said, we have 8 stories for you from yesterday, great stories from yesterday. So let's get into those. No particular order as we're going to present them to you right now, but we'll give you some context into where they sort of fell through in the cracks. So what we're doing right here. Let's start off with headline number 1, which wasn't the biggest headline, but it was a big deal going on. Now, yesterday, the trial, the actual federal lawsuit felony trial for Donald Trump began on his dealing with the hush money case. But the first trial that got through, which was a civil fraud case judgment that happened where he had to pay $175 million bond, was still up in arrears because the bond company that he used to put the bond up apparently wasn't bondo enough. Not proper grammar, but that's what I just said. But a settlement was made, some cash was put down. The company will have so much cash on hand to make up for any bond going forward. Remember, he had to pay about $500 million for the actual settlement. He put up $175 million for bond, and the company needed to put up for it. But the big thing is the billionaire does not have the cash to put up his own money. That's the big story here. This case has been settled while they're waiting for the appeal for this one because he had to make sure the bond was there going forward and he could appeal without taking away his property. But this is something dealing with the attorney general and not the prosecutor attorney, which is the one right here that he's dealing with the hush money case on Stormy Daniels. Whole other thing. This one, which should be a misdemeanor, is actually a felony for various reasons. We'll see if this thing actually plays out and if there are other cases that will actually go to trial before the election. Let's move on to the next story for this morning. Number 2 story, another billionaire, an actual billionaire, having issues with his money, pulling money away. Patriots owner pulls funding for Columbia University over pro-Palestinian protest. Robert Kraft, owner of the New England Patriots, has decided to withdraw his financial support for Columbia University, his alma mater, in response to ongoing pro-Palestine protests on campus. Kraft expressed his discomfort with the situation at the university, indicating that he was not comfortable contributing his financial contributions under the current conditions. He's called on the university leadership to take corrective action to address the protests and restore trust before he resumes any support. Now, it's his money. It's his right to do what he wants to do with his money. That is the case. However, the issue is college campuses actually a bastion of freedom of speech, and whose speech is actually more free? When you have money, you believe your freedom of speech is more towards your end. What you say is more closer to freedom of speech. Are there actual reasons for pro-Palestinian protests on campuses? And the bigger question is actually, are they peaceful? Are they rowdy? Are they distrustful? What's actually happening in the protests? So there's some issues. If Bob Kraft doesn't want to give his money to anybody, he can do that. That is fine. Will the university survive without his money? I guess we'll find out what they'll do about the protests and see how that works out. Story number 3 this morning goes to Arizona as the Supreme Court declines to hear Kari Lake's voting machine lawsuit. That Supreme Court has recently declined to hear a case brought by Kari Lake and Mark Fincher, both Republicans, regarding the use of voting machines. This decision effectively ends their legal challenge against the use of the million voting machines, which was initiated following Lake's loss in 2022, the gubernatorial, that big word, election in Arizona. The court's refusal to take on this case leaves the previous lower court's rulings in place, which had not favored in Lake's position. So it's over. Probably not, because apparently we never stop fighting these things. But the Supreme Court has levied their opinion on this one. We'll see what happens. No, she won't be governor. That's not going to happen. But we'll be fighting over voting machines and Dominion machines going forward. Something tells me voting machines will not be will be an issue we will not be getting rid of anytime soon. All hail the Queen, Nicki Minaj. Nicki Minaj nearly gets hit by a flying object during a concert in Detroit. Throws it back into the crowd because you don't want to fight Nicki Minaj. This happened at the Little Caesars Arena in Detroit, where Nicki Minaj had a close call when an object was thrown towards her on stage. It occurred while she was performing Starships, one of her big ones, and the final show song tonight. She was doing the finale. She was on top. She was doing some Starships, and some idiot threw something at her. No word on what exactly it was, but guess what? She picked it up, threw it back out there, and said, yeah, boys, come at me. I got y'all. Starships are meant to fly, baby. Do not F around with Miss Minaj. Thank you very much. Story number 5. Michael Jordan is finally finding success as a team owner in NASCAR, of all things. The renowned NBA career of Michael Jordan as a player and his transition to a owner didn't work out so well, or isn't working out so well. It still has some ownership in the Charlotte Hornets. But this is all about to change because now his minority stake in a NASCAR group is actually coming to fruition. He is winning. His team is winning. Great things on the track. Go to the link and check out the full story to see details on what's going on and his time. Now, Jordan has spent a lot more time on the hardwood, on the hard track, to see what his actual money is going into. And it's a good thing because his money is going into pretty good performances in NASCAR. And he doesn't have to do very much but pay the money, talk to team owners. He has people in place that actually know what they're doing, as opposed to in basketball when I believe he sort of puts his input into things and sometimes doesn't work out so well. We'll see how this works for him financially and for future success in all endeavors and how much he can ride this NASCAR ring. What's really weird about this, and people don't understand this, is a lot of people, non-minority, it seems like it's a sort of the white Southern thing for NASCAR, but California's big into NASCAR and fast driving. A lot of people upstate are into fast cars, and a lot of minority folks, the barrier being the money, are really into NASCAR, even though there's a lot of trickery, a lot of intricacy in what's going on, strategy that you don't think is out there. NASCAR is a sport that, if it were a little bit cheaper, guess what? It'd be dominated by a lot more people or more melanin in their skin than you would think. More than just one Bubba Wallace out there. They're out there. Trust me. Our story, we're listed at number 6 for this week. This is the headline we put out there. Republican roasts Matt Gaetz, quotes, I serve with some real scumbags. That Republican is Tony Gonzalez of Texas. He recently criticized many of his Republican colleagues. Basically, he was actually fighting for Mike Johnson, the current Speaker of the House, saying he's doing a good job. He's working with, going across the aisles, getting things done. And because he's getting things done, some people are basically calling him out and want to fire him like they fired the last guy. In an interview on CNN, he called Matt Gaetz specifically a scumbag and reported that some Republicans just don't want to get things done. Brought up some things that we're going to just say are allegedly in these cases, although pretty much everybody has some attachment to that, pushing towards Matt Gaetz himself. Now, he was the target in name specific, but not the only target. Gonzalez is calling out some of his colleagues as Republican colleagues for just being idiots and jerks and not getting things done, not there to govern, which is something a lot of Republican folks are saying right now, and a lot of folks in general are saying right now. But the people that are doing the non-governing are being voted in by their people because they like firebrands that don't get shit done. Did I say that? Yeah, I said that. That's what I said. They like firebrands that don't get shit done. There. We got 8 minutes in. We hope we don't get an explicit rating on this one, but if we do, they don't get shit done. That's it's just where we are today. Also not getting stuff done is F45 Fitness, which I, all disclosure, own a good chunk of stock in. By good chunk, I mean about maybe $20. And David Beckham is suing Mark Wahlberg for $10 million, not quite $20, because of this lawsuit saying that F45 Training, the fitness company which Wahlberg is a part owner of, ain't performing and owes him money. So he wants that money. The lawsuit arises from allegations that the company failed to honor financial commitments to Beckham, leading to significant financial losses estimated around $10 million. Beckham's company, DB Ventures, claims that F45 misled him during their endorsement deal, ultimately causing the substantial money loss. Legal action highlights issues around business practices and endorsements within the fitness industry, particularly regarding the obligations and expectations between high-profile endorsers and corporate entities. When you pick an endorser and you say you're going to pay him some money, and then you're taking stocks and you say, well, we don't have any money, you have problems. I'm not an endorser. I am an actual stock owner, and they have no money. Stock tanked as soon as it went up. I bought it on IPO, and the stock tanks. And I want my $20 back. Mark Wahlberg, I don't think I'm getting it, though. David Beckham will probably get his $10 million from somewhere. somehow they'll find it for him. And this story is actually the number one story today, and I'm sort of baffled by it, but social media has picked up on this story, so that's probably where it is. I'm not sure that the Conversation Project audience is really, all the news nerds are that much into men's church conferences, but here's the headline. Pastor John Lindell apologizes for inviting Alex Magala and Mark Driscoll to his men's conference. The James River Church pastor, John Lindell, churches in Missouri, recently issued an apology. He apologized to his congregation for inviting two very controversial figures to the church for a conference. First was a professional sword swallower, Alex Magala, which a lot of people had basically the same sort of reaction Mark Driscoll did. Why is this shirtless guy swallowing swords at a men's Bible Christian conference? That doesn't really fall in line with kingdom values, more or less. And then Mark Driscoll, who basically got on stage and started yelling and screaming because the guy was swallowing swords with no shirt on. Driscoll, very controversial figure for his past church, the Mars Hill thing. Just search for it and figure out what that was. And some issues with his current church because leopards don't really change their stripes. So Lindell is one apologizing for having Magala there because maybe it was the wrong look, although Magala is basically a newish Christian. So he's trying to use him to kind of tell his story. And Mark Driscoll, who is still Mark Driscoll. This was the number one story for the day. I would normally have not used this one, but this story will definitely be, by its numbers, a story we're talking about for the end of the weekend and the wrap up. So it's just so engaging. So we're using it now so we get that starter on that one, so you're not unfamiliar when we talk about it come Saturday. Let's get to our teaser story for today. This is a story that we are teasing now because we could talk about it on tomorrow's edition. This is where we explain the whole feeds thing, how we get the stories to you, what stories we picked for the 8 stories today. And for the 8 stories we picked today, we took 15 stories from the top end of yesterday. We got about 34 different stories posting throughout the day. Top 15 stories were pulled out. We pulled 8 of those that made the most sense to give to you, and that's what we had here. Will this story make that cut? You can be the judge. Headline reads, Arizona judge declares mistrial in case of rancher accused of fatally shooting a migrant. This is a story that's been out there for a while. A migrant was more or less trespassing on the person's land. He was shot and killed by this rancher. Miscal was declared because of the issues. Check out the link to the story and see what the issues are and tell me what you think about it. Give me comments, yes, but the engagement is what makes it happen. Make sure you are engaging in it by clicking buttons, sending comments, doing what you can to get involved in this story or any story we post on our feeds on Facebook and Twitter. Facebook.com/thisisconversationproject and Twitter.com/th_conversation. The more engagement you give us to these stories, more comments, more engagement, more buttons pressed, better chance we have to talk about this one. Make it a top 15 story tomorrow, and we'll probably pull this one in for the 8 stories we present for you in that day. It's that simple. Engage in the story. We know what you want to talk about, and we will talk about it. Our spotlight sponsor for today and all week, we're going to do this all week long, is YouTube TV. Don't wait until the end of the week to pull YouTube TV up, but this is a big deal going on. YouTube TV actually made the news this week as they pronounced a brand new addition of many, many new apps, 100 new apps on YouTube TV itself, and apps from very popular networks themselves. So you don't have to log into a network on your phone to use their apps. You can log into it via your YouTube TV service on your smart TV. It's that simple, it's that easy, that awesome. And it's the best TV around. I'm saying it for my personal endorsement. I've been using it for quite some time. You can get other endorsements by this, but the best endorsement is the money you will save when you sign up using our link at thisistheconversationproject.com/YouTube TV, because they'll give you $30 off your first 3 months just for signing up. But because we're pals, we're boys, we're tight, add $15 to that, $45 off your first 3 months, because we got you. Go to thisistheconversationproject.com/YouTube TV. This is theconversationproject.com/YouTube TV, and cut the cord now. What you waiting for? Why are you waiting so long? YouTube TV is there for you on all your devices. Get 6 different accounts for 6 different DVRs for your entire family and all the premium services you want to. You can get Max, you can get Showtime, you can get all those things. NFL Sunday Ticket lives on YouTube TV. not DirecTV. Trust me. Check it out today. This is theconversationproject.com/YouTube TV. This is affiliate link. So if you do purchase from them, we get a small commission back. There's your disclaimer. You can't lose money because it's TV. You're saving money by using our link. So get on with it. Get the cord cutting happening now. It's a little late. Go ahead and get in now. Don't be embarrassed. We're always there for you. The Conversation Project lives online at thisistheconversationproject.com. And yes, we are always there for you as well. We are there for you 24/7 because of the website. Websites don't go away. They're always there. And when you go to our website, you can learn more about what we do at the Conversation Project because there's a lot going on. Yes, we produce this thing here every single weekday morning starting at 5:50 called Things You Might Have Heard. But with this, we also produced a weekly wrap-up, which is a weekend podcast, which tells you what stories were the top 10 of the full week. We go deeper in detail into some of these stories that we can't really get into in the quick hits we have here. We have really quick hits in YouTube Shorts and on TikTok that hit other stories all day long. We're starting to do some clips and some longer stories in the actual feeds for YouTube. So if you have the time and we have the time to cut them up, go ahead and grab them because we're there. So just go look for them there. We're doing more of those things as well. And you can also do us a solid and stop by our partnerships page and see if you want to partner up with us. We could use some help, a lot of help. We all need some help. Just like every other creator online, it's not just magic that these things happen. And I don't have the luxury of being, some sort of rich venture capitalist with some money behind me, or spent time in Wall Street and have a bunch of money besides because I took from babies and widows and things like that. I'm doing this while working a full-time job and dealing with some community things, dealing with some serious community things. I'm kind of a big deal in some cases. That being said, this thing is something that I do to keep myself sane and because I think some of the news coverage isn't all that great. And if you agree with me, help me be better at being better and help me be better at getting news coverage out there that is being missed. Go to our partnership page and see ways to partner up with us. There are quick one-time donation options and there are subscription options to help us go completely, well, if that makes any sense. If it does, find out. If it doesn't, here are things you can do for free. Follow us on the feeds. If you're engaging in the news stories, we have people who tell us what stories to talk about. What are the more conversational stories? There you go. That's where it goes from. So you tell us what stories are conversational and we will give them to you. You can also go to our email and give us some engagement, give us some feedback on how well we're doing so we can do things better as well. But do not think that we're just here trying to suck up money. We are, that is true, but we really want to do a great job for you, the folks behind this. And with more supports, we can have more folks who are hired to do great jobs for you. And in cross promotion, because we do that, we also have something as part of the larger umbrella of More Better Media called the Big Words Project. Find out at thebigwordsproject.com. We have a word of the day and some other functions there. Go to the Big Words Project and look for our current book out there, Volume 1 of Big Words You Ought to Know. Today's big word that you might want to know, you get this one for free. Superfluous. Superfluous. Being more than is sufficient or required. Excessive. Used in a sentence. The report was marred by superfluous details that obscured the main findings. A little bit extra, if you will. Go to the Big Words Project today and find out more about the Big Words Project. More words you can learn. Get a newsletter for a word of the day sent directly to you in your inbox all by itself. 3 different uses of a sentence. And of course, find out how you can acquire our current edition of Big Words You Ought to Know right there and there. Also, since you're buying books, we just published something else because we're prolific in that way. A new book out called 100 Daily Affirmations for Positivity and Confidence by myself, Jay Cleveland Payne. You can find it on Amazon and other places where books are sold. It's brand new, so it's taken a little while to matriculate to various places, but you can find it in some places. It's actually in some bookstores. You may find it in an independent bookstore here or there because the deal works out, so they put a few copies in some places out there. But look for it on Amazon because it's there. $5 for the Kindle version and $10 for the paperback version. It is paperback on the left and Kindle on the right, if you will. That's the covers you will see out there. 100 different affirmations for you to speak to yourself, speak into existence to help yourself pump yourself up. Sometimes it's as simple as finding the right things to say to yourself or to others to get you on a greater path. 100 different affirmations that you can use directly from the book and reasons why they work. It's not just say, this is really cool. Nice things about yourself. some of the underlying reasons why particular affirmations may be ones for you. And if it's not quite perfect, adjust it, edit it, make it work your own. Check out the book, 100 Daily Affirmations for Positivity and Confidence by J. Cleveland Payne. Search 100 Affirmations Payne on your Amazon, or click the links you'll see inside of the details and notes, descriptions of however you're getting this video audio, and you can help us out and maybe bring some positivity to yourself. That's the whole point with affirmations for positivity and confidence. We've done it. I have positively, absolutely got this thing done today, and I'm pretty happy with the job today. Tuesday, April 23rd edition of Things You Might Have Heard. I am still J. Cleveland Payne. We are wrapping up today's edition of the show, and glad to have you with us every time you join us. Try to share what we're providing with other people, because more people in the conversation makes better conversations. You may think more people in conversation makes it harder to have a conversation, but when we're asking opinions and we can get more diverse opinions, more different opinions, everyone can't speak at the same time, obviously, but we get more people with their opinions. We get a better idea of what people in the mass are actually thinking about things. That's kind of the point behind what we got going on here. Make sure you are staying limber, hydrated, on task for grand things going on, so you are here for more dang things for us and for people around you. Stop by our feeds on Facebook and Twitter. Stop by our website to see how things are going, learn more about us. Email us at theconversationinbox@gmail.com. Consider being a sponsor, and just be as loving and caring, as kind as you can, because we need more of that, more positivity. That's why I wrote the affirmations book. That's why I do the positive things that pop up here. That's why I've been putting all these things out there for literally for years, and sometimes have them come back and haunt me as the things I put out there didn't engage, didn't work, or didn't quite last as well as I thought it was going to be. Social media is kind of a bitch that way. Guess what? I'm going to keep putting out there, and hopefully somebody will see it. And it's one of those things that you say, if one person gets something out of it, then it's worth the effort. I'm done. I love each and every one of you. I mean it so much. Let's get out of here and have a great Tuesday, rolling into another great day, great week, great times from the Conversation Project and Things You Might Not Have Heard.